So the last topic on the list, certainly not least, is Crystalia is back. I talked about Crystalia on the last episode about the allegations, which, by the way, I just want to point out that I did not say he was guilty of anything. I noticed a lot of backlash on the highlight for when I talked about Crystalia on the first episode, and I'm not saying he did anything legal. I said I was confused by the fact that in Connecticut, the age of consent is 16 and he had sexual relationships with someone who was 17 and had lewd photos of them in his phone. So I didn't know if that technically made it child pornography or not. If he crosses into another state where the legal age of consent is 18, does that make it child pornography? I don't know. All I said was that hopefully it's not child pornography because, I like Chris D'Elia, man, and I want him to be at the top of his game like he was. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people took that the wrong way. I love Chris D'Elia. I'm a huge fan. But I don't know. Maybe I should have found a better way to express my thoughts on that. But let me say that I don't think he's necessarily guilty of doing anything illegal. I don't think he deserved to be canceled, to be completely honest. James Charles is exchanging lewd photos with kids underage, where the age of consent is not, where the age of consent is 18 and they are under 18. And he's not being canceled. He's still talking to his sisters. He's still getting deals with Chipotle. You know what I mean? Sorry, it's not a laughing matter. I'm just laughing at the way I said Chipotle. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Chris D'Elia deserved to be canceled the way he did. But nevertheless, I digress, man. Let's move on to the actual topic at hand. I just wanted to clear that up. Chris D'Elia is back. He just posted a new episode to his podcast. I think it was yesterday. He hasn't done the podcast. I think the episode before that said 9 months ago. I went back and looked at it. And it was a good episode. It was funny, man. He acted like his usual self. It was like the old Chris D'Elia. Like, we had the apology video, which was the only thing that we had gotten from him in like 8 or 9 months. And it was just him, really sort of emotional and trying to explain the situation and everything. But with the podcast, we definitely got some better content, to say the least. All the allegations and accusations aside, we got a good podcast from him. We got the old funny Chris D'Elia for this episode. And he said a few things in the podcast that I wanted to touch on. Some that have to do with the cancellation, some just dealing with him as a person and how I really related to some things that he said. We'll talk about the cancellation things first. It's a little less heavy. He made a statement, and I'm going to be paraphrasing basically throughout the rest of this topic, but he brought up how his friends sort of just bailed on him, man, when he got canceled. I was like, and I could see where he's coming from. It's like he's been friend with, he didn't say any names, but I think he was talking about Whitney Cummings being one, maybe Joe Rogan, because he didn't really say anything about it, but I don't think that's bad. Joe Rogan sometimes is a lot smarter when he doesn't say anything. Maybe Theo Von, but Theo Von didn't really say anything bad about him. I've heard that Brian Callen sort of acts like Chris D'Elia doesn't even exist anymore, especially right now because the allegations about him possessing child pornography of that girl. Brian Callen's name was brought up in the situation. So he's probably distancing himself, I would imagine. But yeah, man, he posted a podcast. He just talked about normal stuff, made references to movies, and it was cool. It was really cool to see that. But yeah, when he said that his friends sort of just turned on him, and then he also said that there were friends that really stuck by him, and that's really awesome too. But yeah, it just had me thinking, man, like who's gonna be there for me when I really need them, when I feel like I don't have anybody, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people can think like that. But yeah, just a really, really sad situation altogether. I just wish he wouldn't have been in those situations. That way we would just have the normal, authentic Crystalia, which we got with that podcast, the newest episode. Congratulations. I think it was episode 177, if you want to watch it. Super funny. Uh, you know, again, I'm not saying that anything that he did was okay, and I'm not saying that he's guilty of anything either. So don't jump down my throat. So I'm not making any accusations or decisions, I guess. But it was just really cool. The really human moments that we got out of this podcast. And we wouldn't have gotten those moments without the cancellation either. That's, I guess, a good way to think about it. He wouldn't have said these things if he would have never gotten canceled. He's always sort of just goofy. You know, he used to sort of like come at people a little bit on this podcast. But yeah, it was really cool. Some really humane moments. The other one, the one that, let me put my jacket back on. I'm getting cold now. Not as heated anymore. Oh shit. Just a little side story. I told my friend I was doing this podcast. And he's a real funny dude. He don't watch podcasts a whole lot. And he was like, podcast? I thought that's what old people do. I just thought that was really funny. It's like a lot of people have podcasts, but whatever. The other thing that Crystalia said that I really wanted to touch on was he talked about his son. His son is actually a little bit younger than my son. I thought that was a little weird to think about. He is in his 40s. I believe he's 40, 41, 42, something like that. And he has a son. I think he said he is about to turn 1. I could be wrong about that, but it's somewhere in that area. I just know he was younger than my son, who is currently 1 year and 2 months old, going on 1 year and 3 months old. It's like he's quite a bit older than me, and his son's younger than me. I thought that was sort of a crazy like reality check for me. But he made a couple things. He said a couple of things about his relationship with his son, and one of the big ones that really struck me was that he would be doing stuff like his podcast, and he couldn't stop thinking about his son. And I thought that was really sweet. All of the, you know, all the controversies and everything aside, I just thought that was a really sweet thing. He was like, he just couldn't stop thinking about his son even while he was just doing the podcast. I thought that was really nice. And I'm the same way. If I go too long, like I was at the bar the other night, and I caught myself sort of randomly thinking about Landis, and I was like, I sort of felt bad for not thinking about him more while I was out sort of splurging and enjoying myself. And yeah, definitely a relatable thing if you're not a parent, and you know, if you're going to be a parent soon, that's super relatable. And if you have kids already, I just thought that was really nice, man. It's like a lot of times we look at these celebrities and everything, it's like almost like fictional characters in a way, almost like they're not humans. And that sounds bad, but the way that I'm thinking of it is almost like the way we think of superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be completely honest. If I was ever to meet Justin Bieber, I'd probably like freak out. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like, I should have used a better example. Fuck. But I'm saying that the level of success that he's gotten to, and like the places that he's been in his career, like he can't even go outside without. It's really sad. I was like watching paparazzi videos, and the man can't even walk to his car without being, you know, stalked, and it just sucks. It kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I'll ever get to that level, just being completely honest. But yeah, I just felt really kind of bad for him. But anyway, it's like I was saying, it's like we think of these celebrities as almost like superhero, sort of fictional people. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just, and to see him sort of have like a really human moment like that, it was really nice. Really genuine moment from a father. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was nice. I like how we ended it right there. Let's leave it at that. Definitely, if you're curious, go check out episode 177 of the Congratulations podcast with Chris D'Elia.